Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Screen Scene Guru coming at you with some more UAP news. This is following up my last week's video covering the Ross Coulthart reality check, new whistleblowers coming forward. This is some new information coming forward. So we've got, of course, Ross Coulthart, who is the host of the reality check um, show from News Nation. We got to hear from some new whistleblowers confirming, backing up the Jake Baba story. We got to hear from Fred Baker, who was also part of this task force at the range, which was pretty cool to hear. We got to hear some more of his military background. We got to hear from him talking about how he served in the 24th Special Tactics Squadron, which is STS. Um, he was in a 20-year combat control service, um, specializing in ground-to-air sea communications. Um, he also talks about how he joined back in 2000, the Air Force Combat Control Pipeline. Um, he goes into how his family had a history of serving in the military service all the way going back to the Revolutionary War. So very interesting to hear that he kind of gave his 2 cents on how families that have been collected to the military in the past are part of these clandestine legacy programs. So that was pretty cool to hear that he confirmed some of that. We've been hearing speculation about that. Um, so that was a little bit of confirmation. He talked about how he retired in 2021, but then he began his private contractor slash whistleblower work. Um, Moving on, we've got Fred mentions that when you're part of the special access program, you feel like you're part of something special and that you have a gift that needs to be shared. So that was kind of an interesting topic he talked about. He also felt that when he was let go from his special access program, he was no longer able to share his gift and his knowledge about the topic, and he was looking to do that with individuals again, which led him to meet up with his former partner in the program. This Jacob Barber came to him in 2021 and asked him to do an interview with Dr. Steven Greer, and he agreed. And so they both went down and met with Dr. Steven Greer, which was really cool to see. He's one of the leading experts in ufology and disclosure, and he sort of vets these independent whistleblowers, and he vets all the military firsthand accounters. Um, so really cool to see. He did give approval on what they had to say, the video and topics they went over. Um, we also got to hear from Fred saying that after he met with Dr. Steven Greer, he had a very interesting occurrence. He had to drive home. He had a several-hour drive home, and then once he came home, he felt tired, but not to the point where he wanted to lay down. He was still excited for the meeting, all that they had discussed, and he encountered a white orb, which he describes around his property, then entering his home. Then he describes it turning into somewhat of a tunnel, with him being able to look and peer inside of it. And he witnessed a young boy, who he later described as himself. He believes that this was a repressed memory of these craft coming for him when he was a child. So some interesting stuff there to hear about. They had been discussing regressed memory and other things like that topics when they were with Steven Greer. But the fact that this happened right after their meeting, I thought was very interesting. Um, so yeah, going on to some more topics. They talk about how the whistleblowers talk about being overwhelmed by a sense of religious ecstasy. So most of these people that are coming forward are talking about how these are no negative experiences. I mean, they do come with their own medical curiosities, should I say. They do have very extreme cases of having side effects due to radiation, different types of radiation exposure. But for the most part, these people are talking about these being positive experiences, being most of these people not being religious. They said this is a religious experience. So that's really interesting to hear. Going into my final bit of notes right here, we've got let's see. They're also talking about the use of technology and how it's helped our military service track these objects using different types of radar sweeps in different areas, hot zones they know about. But they also talk about how these craft like to interact with people on a cognitive level. They like to communicate with psychics, and they are using psychics on the fields, in the field, to communicate with these crafts, communicate with beings. So that is another layered part of it. They go into that in the interview, that they are trying to bring up this topic as being something in the mainstream. Moving on, we've got team members were concerned when working with Jacob Barber and Fred, the team members of this squadron, when they were out to do missions on the range. Sometimes they were concerned about their personal safety when it comes to interaction with these craft. They also talk about the concern of being set up. They talk about how there's several cases they had to get these tough books, which had very sensitive data information on them. They talk about how they had to go retrieve these tough books. Some of them were high up in, trying to look and see where I talk about it. Yeah, so they traveled to an aerospace company and also asked them if any of these craft were theirs, and the aerospace company denied being involved in any of these crash retrieval programs. They did not disclose what name of the aerospace company they went to, but I'm sure it's one of the bigger ones, Lockheed, Skunk Works, or possibly Bigelow Aerospace, one of the others, or maybe even an unknown. Um, so yeah, I already went over the Dr. Steven Greer stuff. Fred talked about being in a trance-like state right after returning. So all of that stuff. Let's see. Okay. And then moving on from there, we've also got a few more topics I want to get into, but I'll save that for another video. But yeah, there's been a lot more whistleblowers coming forward. Speaking to Ross Coulthart, there's been Joe Rogan news, a lot more stuff coming down the pipeline. Waiting to see some more video evidence. I know there's some pictures being leaked on the internet right now about some stuff, but I'm just waiting to get some more concrete facts. But this is my video on the up-to-date UAP news. Let me know what you guys' thoughts on this. Have you guys been checking out the reality check videos with Ross Coulthart on News Nation? If you haven't, definitely go and check those out. I'm waiting for this new documentary to be dropped, Age of Disclosure. I've yet to see the new documentary with James Fox, the program, but I'm definitely going to check it out soon. But yeah, be sure to keep an eye on the topic for those of you that are aware. And for all of these that aren't aware, keep up to date with all this new stuff. I know they just recently had a U.S. White House press secretary recently came forward saying that the FAA approved of all the drones over New Jersey and other states being U.S. Drones, and that they are not, in fact, a foreign hostile force adversary. It's very convenient that they're claiming that all of them are FAA approved drones, that they're even saying most of them are from commercial use. I don't belie that at all. I wonder what you guys are thinking about the current drone situation. Do you guys believe they are UAPs or our own government? Let me know in the comments down below. But thank you for clicking on this video, and have a good one, guys. Bye bye.